a promise, if God has given you a word,
Thank you,
if
Lord.
God has given you a testimony, then don't you let the enemy come in and contradict that word that God has spoken to you. Don't you let the enemy contradict what God is trying to do in your life. Don't you buy into that. And of course, we know what's going on in the world today, but what I have found out is nobody really knows what to believe anymore about this situation.
That's right. Amen.
Come on.
Amen.
I'm going to preach in just a minute. Y'all need to help me.
Thank you, Jesus.
Let me tell you something. We have been conditioned
Come on now.
to take advice from ungodly people about godly situations.
That's right. That's right. Amen.
Well, I'll just take my coat off and preach.
Amen. Come on now.
Let me tell you, the church has been conditioned to listen to ungodly people tell us what to do over what we believe.
That's right. That's right. Amen. That's right.
I'm not just talking about COVID, folks. I'm talking about a lot of things. Listen, I'm going to tell you what. We don't do it the old way anymore. Listen, I'm going to tell you the standard of holiness has been let down. I'm going to preach just a little while. I said the standard of holiness has been let down somewhat. Listen, we're letting anything go anymore that we ought not be letting go. And I'm going to tell you something. You walk in a fine line when you start telling people how to live anymore, because people don't want to hear how to live anymore, because they want to be told that they can do their own thing and they can still be right and they can live any way they want to. They can walk any way they want to. They can talk any way they want to. They can dress any way they want to. And everything's still going to be all right. But I'm going to tell you right now, if your life don't line up with thus saith the word of the Lord, then it...
Amen.
I didn't mean to preach. But let me tell you something. I choose to believe what's in here.
Amen.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And if we are going to get up and preach this word,
Glory to God. Thank you, Jesus.
well, y'all have heard me get excited before. Don't act like it's something new to you. If we're going to get up and preach this word, if we're going to get up and sing about this word, if we're going to teach our children about this word, if we're going to testify about this word, then we better start believing what's in this word.
Thank you, Lord.
I don't come here just so y'all can see me every Sunday. I don't come here just because I was appointed pastor of this church. I don't come here just because out of obligation or out of a have-to thing. I come here because I want to lift him up and help somebody. I come here to preach the word of God. You need to know what this word says. And when the world is on fire, I'm telling you, this word right here will get you through. It'll get you through every situation. It'll get you through every heartache. Somebody ought to be on your feet praising the Lord right now.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you,
I'm
Jesus.
telling you, if you don't believe what's in this word, chances are you won't see it come to pass in your life.
That's right. Amen.
Come on now.
Amen. And we have believed things, folks, that are just absolutely not true.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Come on now.
I'll go ahead and preach about it. We believe stuff about this virus that ain't true.
Right.
Well,
We get false reports every day.
Yeah.
Well,
That's right.
well,
Amen.
and people are eating it up.
Yeah. That's right.
People scared to go out of their house.
yeah.
Amen.
Come on, preach now.
I'm going to believe the report of the Lord.
Amen. That's right.
The news can report anything they want to report. All I know is that I'm serving a God that ain't no virus ever went over his head. I'm serving a God that ain't no cancer been able to defeat him. I'm serving a God that took the to death, hell, and the grave. I'm telling you right now, there ain't no way you're going to get me to believe that there's anything ever in this world or ever will be in this world that's greater than my Jesus.
Amen. Thank you, Lord.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Well, hallelujah, I'm trying to be good.
Hallelujah.
I'm trying to be good. Y'all don't really want to know what I really think about it all. I wasn't comfortable with it. I didn't like it. But just guess what? I talked to my wife. She is my helpmate. She is one of my spiritual advisors. And I talked to God and I complied for a little while.
Right.
But let me tell you something, church. The longer we comply over things,
Yes.
the more stuff they're going to push at us.
That's right. That's right. Amen. That's right.
You go ahead and say amen.
That's
You go
right.
ahead and say on me whatever it is you believe. But I'm telling you right now, the church is being conditioned on a permanent shutdown right now.
That's right. That's right. Amen.
Come on now.
And who's to say that the next thing that comes along, everybody will just shut down again?
Yeah. That's right.
And then the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you ain't been in the house of God for a year.
That's right. That's right. Amen. Amen.
You don't have to go to church to have church.
Right.
Okay? I'm not telling you you have to go to church to have church. You have church right here. You can have church in your car. You can have church in your house. You can have church anywhere you go. But the Bible said, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together as the manner of some is.
Right.
And I'm like you, Brother Todd. There's something different when you come in this house.
That's right. That's right.
I said
Amen.
there's something different when you come in this house. There's something different when the people of God gather around somebody that's sick
That's right.
and begin to pray the prayer of faith. There's
Thank you,
something
Lord.
different when an anointed preacher is preaching the word out of the pulpit and it's hitting you right there and it's touching you right then. There's something different about it.
Amen.
You see, when you're watching it online, you can pause it or turn it off.
Right. Right.
You want to turn me off in here, you have to get up and leave.
Right. Right.
And believe you me, I've had them get up and leave before, and it don't scare me not one bit.
Amen.
Come on.
Yeah.
Isaiah 53, who hath believed our report? That wasn't all in my notes. And whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? You turn on the news right now, and what you hear is reports.
Yeah. Right.
Reports. You hear the weather report. You hear the corona report. You hear the sports report. You hear the local news report. You hear about 6 or 7 different reports when you turn on the news. You can search for a subject on Google or Yahoo or whatever it is you search for. You can start looking at news outlets on that subject, and you might see 5 or 6 different reports on that same subject. But some of them don't even say the same thing. They're all different.
Right. Right.
Then it leaves you not really knowing what to believe about that situation.
Right. Amen.
Is this correct over here, or is that news outlet correct? Is this one what I read correct, or is that what I read correct? And by the time you get done reading about it, you're confused and don't know no more you did when you started.
Right. That's it. That's it.
Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Amen.
Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Listen to this. The children of Israel had a promise, just like we have a promise. They were promised a land that was flowing with milk and honey. They were promised a place of paradise, that all they had to get through was the wilderness, and they could possess that land. I'm here to tell somebody in Sherwood, Tennessee, on May the 17th, right before 12 o'clock, all you've got to do, honey, is just press on through the wilderness. I said all you got to do is press on through the wilderness.
Thank you, Lord.
Times is hard. Things are bad. speaking to Moses, saying, send down men that they may search out the land of Canaan, which I give to the children of Israel, of every tribe of their fathers, and ye shall send a man, every one of them a ruler among them. And you say, this ain't got nothing to do with your subject. You don't believe what the devil is saying. I'll show you in just a minute. I'm going to tie it all together. You know the story. 12 spies were sent out, one for every tribe. They searched for 40 days. They came back and say, we found it.
Come on. Uh-huh.
We found it.
Yeah.
It was just like you said. It's flowing with milk and honey. We had to get a bunch of people just to pick up the grapes and carry them back.
Right. Amen.
You wouldn't believe what we see. But guess what, Moses? We got a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on now.
Oh, the promise is there. Y'all don't worry. Y'all don't worry about it. The promise is there, but don't get too excited because we got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Here's the fruit. We got it. But the people are strong. The children of Anak live there. And all those 10 men could think about was the obstacles that they could not overcome.
Right.
Nah. But listen to this. The Bible said, and Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it. For we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than me. Listen to this. And they brought us up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers. And so we were in their sight. That the children of Anak were giant people. It's the people that Goliath descended from. But you got to understand that a giant is only a giant when you look at it through your natural eyes.
Amen.
I said a giant is only a giant when you look at it through the natural. You see, David never looked at Goliath as being a giant, Brian. He never saw Goliath as being a giant. All he saw was a man that was defying the army of God. And he said, I'm not going to have it. He didn't matter. Well, I wish somebody would get rid of this morning. He said, I don't worry about how tall he is. I don't worry about how much armor he's got on, because my God is bigger.
That's right. Thank you, Lord.
Somebody look at somebody and say, my God is bigger this morning.
Thank you,
Say, my God is bigger. Say, my God is bigger.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hallelujah. You go into this story and you'll find out that right after Caleb spoke that word and said, we're able to overcome it, that's when the people started complaining. But Moses believed the good report.
Right.
I might have 10 over here that said we can't do it, but I got 2 that says we can.
Yes.
And I don't hurt nobody's feelings. Besides, I ain't listening to y'all anyway. My word comes from him.
Amen. That's right.
That's the problem with a lot of preaching today. That's the problem with a lot of leadership today. You want to listen to everybody else to tell you what decision to make, and you ain't going to him and say, what do I need to do?
Amen. That's right.
Moses believed the good report. He did not believe the evil report. Listen to this. He says, if the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us this land and give it to us, a land which floweth with milk and honey. Mm-hmm. But listen to this. He said, only rebel not against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is parted from...
Come on.
Their defense is departed from them. In other words, they ain't even got a defense against us, and y'all are scared of them. No, Moses said, and the Lord is with us, fear them not.
Right. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Lord.
In other words, don't believe this evil report, it's wrong.
Come on now.
God said we could possess the land.
Yeah.
Do not rebel against what the Lord has said.
Right.
They have no defense against us. Don't be afraid of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
And guess what the people want to do? They want to stone Moses.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm.
There was an uprising against the leadership.
Yep.
There was an uprising against what God had said through the leadership.
Come on.
It got so bad that God even said, you know what? If you ain't going to handle this, Moses, I'll handle it my way. I'll burn them all to the ground. And only people under 20 years old will be allowed to live. The rest of them will never see it. I'll take them out. Read it. It's right there. You say, well, the Bible don't say that. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. You get God upset. You get God on the warpath, honey. You don't want to be in that situation.
Right. Amen.
People right now are being driven by fear. They're letting fear control almost every aspect of their life. But Moses knew what the Lord had promised. When the good report came back, he knew what knew what to believe. He did not have to go seek counsel somewhere else.
Right. Amen. Amen.
Right.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hallelujah.
You remember Saul? King Saul? Samuel dies. Saul has already sent the witches and the warlocks and the people that call up familiar spirits. He's already sent all them out of the land.
That's right.
But Saul sees a host of Philistines, and guess what happens to Saul? He gets afraid.
Yeah.
And the Bible said his heart greatly trembled. It's in 1 Samuel 28. It's a good story. Read it when you got time. And when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid and his heart greatly trembled. He had fear gripped him.
Yeah.
When fear grips you, you will not be able to hear what the Lord is saying.
Right. That's right.
And when Saul inquired of the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams or by Urim or by prophets. Listen to it. The Lord did answer Saul. But Saul didn't understand because he didn't get an answer that the Lord was saying, wait.
Come on now, Lord. Hallelujah.
I've not quit preaching.
Come on.
Thank you, Lord.
When the Lord doesn't answer, the Lord is just telling you, wait just a little while.
Right.
Right.
Amen.
So Saul, he couldn't handle that. He didn't want to hear that.
Right.
He wanted God to give him what he needed right then and didn't want to wait for it. So guess what Saul does? He goes and he tells his servant Todd, he said, seek me a woman that has a familiar spirit.
Yeah.
That I can go, and I feel the Holy Ghost, that I can go to her and I can inquire of her. And his servant said, behold, there is a woman that has a familiar spirit at Endor. And Saul disguised himself. You see, when you ain't supposed to be doing something, you'll try anything you can to hide yourself.
Right.
He'd already done away with all of that. But because God didn't give him what he wanted, he went and sought after the devil for it.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, that's why people are in a lot of shape they're in today, is when they get in church, they get saved, and they find out that everything just ain't going to go smooth anymore.
Right.
They'll go back to the devil and see what he's got to say about it. I'm preaching you the truth this morning.
Thank you, Lord.
I could keep on preaching that, but here's what I want to say. He couldn't get what he wanted. So he goes to someone evil. He seeks evil counsel. He knew he was wrong, Mary.
Yeah.
If he had known that he was in the right, he wouldn't have put on his disguise.
Exactly.
Right.
He didn't want nobody to see who he was.
Right.
That's like when you go to some place you ain't supposed to be going and you be looking around seeing if anybody knows you there.
Right.
Yeah.
Make sure somebody from church don't see you.
Right.
You're lying to yourself. And then you have to tell one, then you have to tell another lie to cover up that lie.
Right.
And you realize that it all came from the father of lies, which was the enemy, which was Satan, the devil.
Yeah.
Because he's a liar. And when you believe him, it makes you a liar.
Come on
Right.
now.
Ah,
Come on.
Come on now.
some of you don't like hearing that. That's all right. I'm telling you right now, the point of this whole message is this. Do not buy into the lies that the enemy is selling you. You believe what is in this word. You believe that anything that God says is true. If he will protect us, then he will protect us.
Amen.
I don't have any reason to believe that God is not my shield. I don't have any reason to believe that God is not my buckler. I don't have any reason to believe that God is not my defense. And guess what? Whatever I die of, I'll just die of it.
Right. Right.
But I'm going to a place. I'm on my way to the promised land. And I will go through this wilderness. And I will get there.
Amen.
You can stand. I don't know about you, but I'm going to believe the report of the Lord. Let me tell you something, folks. God will only take so much before God takes action.
Yeah.
Listen to me this morning. He tells Moses, he said, I've heard all these people murmur and complain. And there was a person named Korah that come up against Moses, him and 250 people with him. And you know what the Lord ends up doing because he goes up against the man of God? The Lord opens up the earth and swallows every one of them.
That's right.
Right. Come on now.
You better be careful what you say against a man or woman of God.
Right.
And then, let me tell you what else God said he did. He said, them 10 that brought back the evil report, he said, I'm going to put a plague on them. You go back and tell something that ain't true to the man of God, I'll plague you.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to me. It's right there in the Word of God. People say, well, I wonder why this is happening to me, and I wonder what that's happening to me. What have you done against the church?
Yeah.
What have you said that you shouldn't have said about the ministry or against the ministry? When Moses was listening to all them 10, and he knew it wasn't right. Folks, if you got the Spirit of God, you can tell a lie from the truth. He knew it wasn't right. Years ago, I would come home. I'm going to tell you this. I'm not embarrassed to say it. Years ago, I would come home and I would lie to my wife. And she could tell just as soon as I opened my mouth when I was lying. Do you know why? Because she's a praying woman and God already showed her what I was doing. You better watch who you try to lie to. I said, you better watch who you try to lie to.
Amen.
But the Bible said that Caleb, he told the truth. The Bible said that Caleb, in Exodus 13, said, but Caleb, Angie, had another spirit.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't have, I feel the Holy Ghost. He didn't have that spirit that the 10 had.
Right.
Joshua and Caleb was made up of something else.
Yeah.
They weren't made up of fear. They were made up of faith.
Amen.
They wasn't going to accept failure.
Amen.
They wasn't going to accept defeat.
Right.
Listen to me this morning. I'm done. They didn't have an agenda like the other 10 had either.
Hallelujah.
Let me tell you something, folks. Satan has an agenda for you. He has an agenda for this church. He's got an agenda for every church across America. Listen, he wants to shut us down. He wants to shut you down. He wants to shut up your life. And he will slither and he will sneak your way. He will sneak his way into your life so quietly that if you are not paying attention, you will not even know what he's done until it's too late and you're caught up in it. I don't know who I'm preaching to today, but I'm going to tell you right now, I felt it go out of my spirit. I felt it go out. But I feel like there's somebody here, you're confused. You're confused. You don't know what to believe and you don't know what to do. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you this morning. You've let the devil get in your head. Don't believe his lies.
Amen.
I said, don't believe his lies. You got a God that knows all things. I said, you got a God that has all power. You got a God that can take care of any problem, any sickness, any situation that you might encounter in your life. And all you got to do is yield your life over to him and let him have control of it. And he'll do it. Look here, all it takes is obedience. You find out that they possess the land of Canaan. Later on, Joshua goes and God says, Joshua, I'm going to give you Jericho. And Brian, Joshua never had to do anything except march. I'm just going to do what God says do. And I'm going to see, look here, I'm just going to see what God's going to do about it. I'll obey what God said do. He said march around 7 days. And the last day, he said march 7 times. After you get done marching 7 times, blow the trumpet. For I've given you the victory. And you know what, Brian? God backed up every single thing that he told Joshua he would do.
Amen.
And when that trumpet blowed, guess what happened? The walls came down.
That's right.
But I want to tell you this little story. Let me quit preaching, Lord. But there was a woman that was an inhabitant of that city, and she was a sinner lady. She was a woman of the night. Her name was Rahab.
Yep.
But let me tell you about her. The Bible didn't say she repented or nothing like that, did it?
No.
But it did say this. She respected those men of God.
Right.
And the men of God said, if you'll just put a cord out from your window, you'll be saved. She was evil. She was wicked. She was doing things, Sister Mary Jo, that she should not have been doing, living a lifestyle she shouldn't have been living. But guess what? She knew the voice of the Lord, and when they said do it, she did it.
Amen. Amen.
And she was saved. Hallelujah. If you need God